Alright everyone, today we're going to take a look at graphing lines that are in slope-intercept form. There are more forms for the equation of a line that aren't slope-intercept form, but for right now we're just going to be looking at what's called slope-intercept form. So when I am talking about slope-intercept form, what I mean is y equals mx plus b. This equation right here is extremely important. You will be seeing this equation in every math class that you have in high school. I promise you that. And what this literally tells us is the slope and the intercept of our equation. The slope refers to this letter here, m. Whenever you see m, that means the slope. Whenever you see b, this refers to the y-intercept. Well, since these terms might be new, let's talk about them. Slope is the rise over run. This is how much we're going up and down over how much we're going side to side. So it's the up and down over the side to side. Sometimes we'll have fractions, sometimes we'll have whole numbers. We'll look at examples of both of those. But it's literally the steepness of our line. It's how much our line goes up for every space we're going over. The y-intercept, this is where the line crosses the y-axis. And in just a second here, I'll show you what I mean. But the y-axis is a vertical line in the middle of our graph. So if we're looking at our graph here, notice we've got the x and the y. The x is where we're going side to side, and the y is where we're going up and down. So when I talked about the y-axis, this line in the middle is the y-axis. So our y-intercept says where we cross this y-axis, and that's actually where we're going to start when we're graphing. So our y-intercept is -4, and our slope is 2/3. So let's write that down. M equals 2/3, and b equals -4. And we actually want to start by using our b, our y-intercept. So since we have a y-intercept of -4, I'm going to start here at the center, and I'm going to go down 4 spaces. Now, when you count down 4 spaces, don't count where you start as 1. That's basically 0. Well, that is actually 0. And so when you go down, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces down, and you just mark it right on this line, right on the axis right here. We're not going side to side at all for the moment. We just want to mark this point right here. So we've got 1 point that's on our line, and now we're going to use our slope to find 2 other points. So we want 3 points total. Now if I have a fraction 2/3, this is our rise over our run. So that means I'm going to rise, or I'm going to go up 2 spaces, and I'm going to run or go over 3 spaces. So I'm going to start right here at this point that I already marked, and I'm going to go up 2 spaces, and I'm going to go to the right 3 spaces. And I mark my point right there. So now I have 2 points. I want to make a 3rd point just to make sure that everything's all lined up. So I'm going to start where I ended, right here at this 2nd point. I'm going to go up 2 more spaces, and I'm going to go to the right 3 more spaces. So now I have 3 points, and this looks a little bent, but that's mostly because of the way that my graph looks, and it's not perfectly accurate. When you have problems that are going to be on tests or quizzes, this graph paper will be provided for you. There will be a very accurate space for you to graph in. But with homework problems and these problems in your notes, just do the best you can. Once we have our 3 points, all we have to do is draw a line through it, and we're done. That's all we have to do for graphing this line. Let's take a look at one more example. Here I have the equation y equals negative 2x plus 3. So let's start by writing out our m and our b. So first off, we want to start with our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is 3, so I'm going to start here at the center, and I'm going to go up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And we mark our point right there. Now, this part's a little bit different. Notice we've got negative to our first slope, but that's not a fraction. If we have rise over run for our definition for slope, we need to have something on the bottom here. Well, if you ever have a whole number for your slope, put it over 1. So now our rise is negative 2, so that means we're going to go down 2 spaces, and our run is 1, so we're just going to go to the right 1 space. So we're going to go down 2 spaces, over 1 space. So I've got my second point here, because I had my first point, which was my y-intercept. I went down 2 spaces, over 1. I'm going to do this again. Down 2 more spaces, and over 1 more space. I've got my 3 points, and now I just connect them with a line. And there's my answer.